Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to the first early access build for Solasta II by Tactical Adventures. And of course, we're no strangers to Solasta here. We played through the first game and most of the DLC. Still have to circle back to Palace of Ice at some point. And of course, we also played the demo for Solasta II, but this is our first real look at what the final game will play like with our first custom party, as opposed to our pack of pre-gens. And also apparently updated to use the latest D&D Beyond rule set, which I will say did take some getting used to. There's a lot of subtle but fairly significant changes in the mix compared to what we saw with Solasta I and Baldur's Gate 3. That said, we're going to jump in momentarily, but I will also say I spent some time familiarizing myself with it. I have some thoughts. Though I will stress, this is inherently an unfinished alpha. We're just into early access, plenty of time for fixes and fine-tuning before the actual, factual final product. So yeah, let's get in there. Solasta II by Tactical Adventures. Give me one sec to set up our party, and we are good to go. Behold, the Callwall family, or at least our particular iteration of it. And I'm gonna go ahead and start by saying, I feel like the whole foster family thing's kind of weird. I've heard worse reasons for adventuring parties to form, but I've always just been more of a less is more kind of guy. You meet in a tavern, you're called before the king, etc. Foster family's a new one on me, and not one I would, I think, classically go with. But since it is what we are working with, here's what we've got. Though you may also notice a distinct lack of a cleric. That is intentional. Clerics are a crutch. A party should not need them to survive. Also, none of the raiders actually submitted one into the character pool, but that's neither here nor there. So instead, we have Braun the Bulwark, our party's fighter and face. Perhaps a paladin in another life, but not what the raider requested, so a fighter instead. Followed by Robsfoot, our second fighter. Technically a fill-in for a ranger, those just aren't available just yet. But he is generally a more offense-minded build than Braun. Not to a huge degree, but in enough ways I think that the two should be pretty clearly differentiated from each other, especially once they hit level 3. Since, at that point, Braun will go Commander, and Robsfoot will go Aether Warden. I will note, though, that Robsfoot's gear is all wrong. You cannot customize your starting loadout in the current build, it's locked to your class. So he's just gonna have to kind of slum it with what he's got until we can get ourselves to a proper vendor. Under ideal circumstances, he'll be rocking a spear, shield, and javelins, along with medium armor. But, you know, we'll get there a little later down the line, just gotta get through the tutorial stuff. Next up, Norva. Not really a whole lot to say here. She's a pretty straightforward rogue spy. More of the sneaky and stealing variety, with a side of deception, as opposed to the more intellectual type. There's only so many ability points to go around. But she should be plenty good at what she does, including, hopefully, in combat, where she is rocking both dual blades and dual throwing daggers. Really looking forward to putting those dual throwing daggers to use. That new Nick ability seems pretty fun. Essentially tossing 2 daggers at once as a single action. Fun in theory, but we'll see how it works out in actual practice. And last but not least, Dumnani, our party's sole arcane support, and also a side of divine, since as you can see off on right there, he's also got Acolyte, which grants him Magic Initiate Cleric. And yeah, Dumnani here is essentially our support caster, our catch-all support caster. He'll do a little arcane blasting, he's got Firebolt, he's got Shocking Grasp, but his main focus, both on and off the battlefield, will essentially be supporting whatever his foster siblings are trying to do, and his spell loadout reflects that. identify, comprehend language, featherfall, false life, etc. Plus good old magic missile. Oh, light. Extra vital for a group consisting of nothing but humans and halflings. And over on the divine side of things, graceful repose and healing word for emergencies. You know, I said we weren't going to lean on a cleric as a crutch, but it is still nice to have a little healing on tap, you know, as a treat. Honestly, I don't think we're going to need it too much, but we'll see how things play out. That said, calls to the walls. Let's get this party started.
What are they doing?
They're moving the statue to the city. They do it every year for the Holy Day of Caledar.
Is this something to do with Marike?
I told you to pay attention during religious studies.
It is indeed the Redeeming Mother, cleansing the condemned before their execution. Even those who fail to redeem themselves in life are forgiven in death. An uncommon representation of our goddess, but fitting for this day of funerals.
About that, we're running a bit late.
Oh yes, I thought I remembered your faces.
We're from the orphanage.
Yes, of course. You're the children Mother Colwell adopted. You must be going to her funeral. Bless her memory. Mahin was a truly righteous woman.
Thank you, Father. Blessed day of Caledar to you.
Marike smile upon you all, Colwells.
Well, if it isn't good old Landry, couldn't mistake that mop of red hair for anyone else.
Ah, yes, my good friend Landry. My old friend, I know him well. We have a long and shared history together. Clearly, we should catch up. I will say, we're not going to worry too much about, like, a lot of the extraneous stuff. You know, there are plenty of lore objects lying around, there's lots of crafting items to collect, etc. But honestly, considering this is a very early alpha build, most of it doesn't really mean much right now. I mean, it's interesting reading, but generally speaking, we can't actually complete most of these quests or really pursue any of these rumors, and there's no complete story to explore yet. Likewise, crafting, although there is a skeleton in place, it's largely unimplemented, including spell scribing, so we won't be able to add new spells to poor Doomnani's spellbook outside of the occasional level up, which we can do up to level 4. I believe that's where the cap is currently set, which does feel low, but is also in keeping with Baldur's Gate 3, which I believe also capped at level 4 for a long, long time in its own early access launch. But yeah, I'll mainly try to keep myself on task, you know, stay focused on following.
Where are you going?
Let's go talk to Landry.
Following the quest markers, pursuing the adventure. We've got a lot of general setup narrative to get through here, which I'm not a huge fan of, but, you know. Once we get past that part, things do open up a bit, and that, I think, is where Solasta II really starts to shine. When you actually get to play D&D.
Ha! Landry, is that really you?
The one and only. It's been a long time.
Must be 10 years at least. It's so good to see you. I wish it would have been in different circumstances.
Same here. I'm so sorry for your loss, by the way.
Walk with us. We can speak about the good old days.
I'd love to, but look. The war. Galavan troops, it damaged it, remember? Well, it fell off a couple of years ago.
I didn't know. I haven't been back since I left the orphanage.
None of us have.
We'll never get there on time if we circle around, especially with that storm coming.
Come on, let's climb down. We used to do it all the time when we were kids.
I mean, I feel like that's really the sort of thing that people should have planned around if they're holding a funeral, but...
Everyone here, we can crawl under this.
Sure, sure. Obviously, this is our thinly veiled tutorial. And I've got to say, you know,
Adventuring, they said.
silliness aside, these environments really are gorgeous. You know, you put this next to, like, Solasta I, and it is night and day. The environments also look a whole lot more natural, which almost works to its detriment, because I do find myself glancing down at the minimap more often than not, just to verify where we can and can't actually walk. But, you know, generally speaking, I do feel like it's a fair trade-off.
It would have been easier to bury Mother back in town.
Mareike was a big part of her life. She would have wanted to be buried in the old temple.
I hear Rickard is the temple's new solace. He's going to say mass at your mother's funeral.
I guess that's why he called for us. It must be tough for him.
Let's hope he doesn't down a bottle of liquid courage beforehand.
Well, okay.
Mouth movements are a bit hit or miss. I noticed that it does seem to have like a bit of trouble with the warm-up phase during the first few lines of a
Hey,
conversation.
everyone, look. The monster's cave. Remember how Mother got mad every time we went down there?
Voices are pretty decent. And yeah, I mean, obviously, they did the whole foster family thing. Even now, we can kind of tell. They did the whole foster family thing just to add some extra emotional weight to everything. I don't feel like it's really earned, but, you know, it could theoretically grow on me over time. It is ultimately the sort of thing that I think is easily ignored.
Crabs used to live in there.
Looks like something ate all of them. Hey, look. The old tower. It's collapsed and ended up down here.
A victim of the war. Like the bridge.
Come on, push this bit out the way.
Why don't you do it?
Because my arms are so weak.
I like you, Landry. Hopefully nothing terrible happens to you. Let me just have a peek around the beach here real quick. Gotta grab whatever we can right now to trade for the gear we need for our actual loadouts, especially for poor Rob's foot. Oh, and yeah, some of this stuff will come in handy regardless, like rations. We'll need those for the actual adventuring. Alright, let us call to the wall once more. A towering accomplishment.
What are those things? Well, they don't look like crabs.
Never seen anything like them. Best to be cautious.
If we stay low, we might get past without being seen.
Stealth tutorial.
Psst, we're sneaking. You have to crouch.
Though I've got to say, Landry, I'm starting to think this might not be the best place to hold our mother's funeral. You know, between between the completely destroyed infrastructure and now the wandering, heavily armed monsters. I feel like that's the sort of thing that might become an issue.
Here's where I think those things really gave me the creeps.
At least they've gone now. Let's take a look at these ruins.
Yes. More optional loot. Let's see what we got.
Move on.
Oh. One sec. There we go. Yeah, an issue I ran into back in the test run was that occasionally interactive objects would get stuck after cutscenes, but nothing a quick load won't fix. And we definitely don't want to miss those thieves' tools. Though I suppose the bucket does somewhat pale in comparison.
This beach.
Oh, damn. Kobolds.
What?
Kobolds!
Hey, he's Glebbo's meal. We hunted together. We share. Hunted? My track's got him. Gobble! You greedy!
Yeah, you guys are less cute when you're standing over a mutilated corpse. Alright, I suppose we should probably kill them. Let's sneak ourselves into a better starting position. Though we should also make sure we check.
It's
Yes.
too quiet.
Ooh, throwing daggers, perfect. One step closer to our actual intended loadout. Though not quite there just yet, because we do need a second set for her offhand. Though I will note, prominent difference between this and Solasta I. Ammunition is no longer individually tracked. Though I do wonder how that will extend to magic ammo. I've yet to actually encounter any. Anyway. Oh, you guys are actually moving around. That's unexpected. Honestly, just kind of figured they'd head to preset locations and then loiter around until we were ready. But apparently not, which I do appreciate because... Oh, goodness. One sec. Hi. Oh, thank goodness for that. Alright, let's get this done. Yes, there is no tactical pause, so sneak attacks like that are done in real time, and it is very tense. Very tense and hectic. Oh, right, and we still need offhand daggers for Norva. Alas, alas, we'll get them soon enough. You all right there? Yeah, he's probably fine. Landry!
I thought we said cautious.
Ooh, goodness. Okay, now he is slightly less fine. Oh, these poor guys.
This shortcut is looking more and more like a trap. Don't worry, we'll be fine. We need to hurry.
We're almost there. Can we take a short rest? I'm worn out.
Fine, just a short one then.
I mean, Landry, I don't really feel like we need it, but yeah, for the sake of the tutorial, I suppose we can. Let me just gather up our
Place to put our feet up.
lizard loot real quick.
Oh, jog on if you like. I'm taking a break. What was that about Rick? She angry at him or something?
Who?
We should take a look at this.
Wow, Landry really must be tired. He's talking about an event that hasn't actually triggered yet. Let me go ahead and clear these caltrips real quick, and then we'll give the poor guy a break.
Careful, this place is full of kobold traps.
I do like that they immediately halt movement if your character detects any sort of trap or dangerous terrain. Not all CRPGs do.
This place is full of kobold traps.
Though I will say I would prefer a tactical pause. Again, much like with a sneak attack, it would just be easier.
This is too dangerous.
I think the main reason it's not in here is because, for better or worse, much like Baldur's Gate 3, it is built around the idea of being a multiplayer-friendly game, and thus they disabled most standard pause functionality.
Poor lad. At least they didn't eat him.
He is with Marike now.
Oh, nice. That is just a straight upgrade. Yes, please. Yeah, just a straight upgrade. +1 AC. Slightly heavier, but I think we can live with that. Though long term I may come to regret using strength as a dump stat. For her and Doomnani both. Alright, Landry. Let's give it a rest. Yeah, we had zero need for that. We steamrolled those poor kobolds.
I feel better now. Hey there. You alright?
Ah, yes, and it's time to set the family roles. This is an interesting concept, but one that I also take basic issue with. One of my biggest problems, I think, with Solasta II right now is that the story isn't necessarily bad, but the game itself feels like it was designed with two very different, clashing ideologies. Like, on the one hand, you get to make your custom party, you're supposed to have the agency thereof. But then at the same time, they obviously have this grand, largely linear narrative that they want your characters to slot right into, complete with pre-established backstories and interwoven relationships. And that is essentially what these family roles are meant to represent. You know, which role each of your characters played in your extended foster family. It's not an inherently bad idea, but it does feel weird especially because they separated it from actually making your characters. If they were going to include this kind of mechanic, this kind of narrative framing device, it should have been upfront about it when you were making your party so that you could design your characters accordingly. It really should not be sprung on you 20 minutes into the tutorial after you've already built your party. Not a bad idea, just questionable implementation. Anyway.
I still can't believe we're going to bury Mum.
Mum? I know Martin adopted you, but I didn't realise you were so close.
Easy. Rob's foot, you scoundrel.
They were always Marhin's big baby. Go figure. It's true. We had a special bond.
Well, in your own way, you were special too. You were the one who always got punished.
I guess Norva could be top student. She is proficient in manipulating people for approval.
You were definitely looking for it.
And you were always the swotty teacher's pet, weren't you? You still are.
Guys, come on. It might be a day to remember old times, but don't dig up old quarrels. We know where this goes.
And I suppose that's going to be my fault.
You really haven't changed that much.
All right, everyone, listen up. Let's move. The funeral is at midnight and we still have to climb that cliff.
Yes, sir.
Hey, isn't that the Orcus?
It looks like it. What's she doing? What do you think, dummy? We're burying Mother. Like you, she's grieving.
Okay, enough. Let's go. It's time.
See, I will say, that is...
Hey, come take a look at what I found.
Ah, a path up. Great. I was wondering how we were going to get up there.
I had a vague memory there was one around here somewhere, so I just started hacking away at the branches.
That is actually one thing I do like about the role system, the family role system, is it helps better differentiate your characters. There are very few voice sets to choose from in the current build, so every little bit does help.
Nice jump!
You?
The Orcus. It's been a while.
4 little troublemakers. Like old times. You haven't changed a bit. Oh. Landry.
Hiya, Dee.
Is this a party or a funeral?
Rickard sent us a message.
Yes. He sent me one too.
He said you didn't answer. He was worried.
Oh, really? How interesting.
We had to come and pay our respects.
You don't need an excuse. She adopted you. You're her children as much as I am.
It's probably time to go, don't you think?
Give me a moment. I'll join you there.
Okay, good to see you, sis, I guess.
What was that about Rick? She angry at him or something?
Yeah, see, there's the line he dropped earlier. Slight misfire there.
Almost there.
And here's our wake. Right out in the middle of a hostile wilderness. Yeah, that's what I'd want too.
I'm deeply sorry for your loss.
If I'm going out, I'm going to take all my friends and family with me.
My deepest sympathies.
I mean, to be fair, I think they
Norike welcomes your mother, Colwars.
did imply that this was like an old ancestral home or something. Site of the orphanage, perhaps. A place of sentimental value.
Condolences.
First merchant. Sadly, nothing we really need, but we will do some minor trading here. At the very least, we can unload some of our vendor trash. And maybe grab those lore objects. I'm still on the fence with those. They are cheap though, so you know, we might as well. I suppose I could also sell all the crafting stuff we pick up, but they are adding the mechanics in later. I'm just not sure if it'll be backwards compatible or not. probably best to hold on to them for now. Yeah, alright, we'll go ahead and grab these. It's like 4 gold. Alright, let's go. Give all due respect.
Ricard?
You made it. Teokas. I thought you'd never come.
What happened?
I don't know. She wasn't sick, and yet she knew Marai was coming for her.
It doesn't make any sense.
She left this. For you. It's Kaladar. Time to honor Mother. We'll talk later.
It doesn't make any sense.
Thank you for coming. I know it was a long trip.
We had to come. She meant a lot to us. But you know that.
Yes.
You should have saved her.
I told you. It was Marai K's will. It was her time, and she wanted to go in peace.
Did she tell you that? Or is it what you tell yourself?
I'm begging you.
We can still bring her back.
No! She told me not to. She deserves the peace of death.
Try and stop me. Right.
those cutscenes.
Don't fight me! Stand down!
Marai won't allow it!
I cannot lose her! Not like that!
The pillar! Knock it down!
Right. On it. You know, nitpicking at the narrative aside, the devs have really upped their game when it comes to presentation. It just does come at kind of a cost because of the type of story they want to tell, I suppose. You know, they don't necessarily want you to go on a free-form adventure with your custom crew.
Arcana, Evo, Malvis!
They want your custom characters to be part of a pre-established story, which unfortunately does come somewhat at the cost of actual player agency. So I've got to say, you know, the actual gameplay remains pretty top-notch. I just wish they kind of led with that, as opposed to the, what are we, 40 minutes deep into the narrative setup. The story's intriguing, but, you know, a game like this, with the fully customized party being one of its main draws, you want to have a good replayability factor, and you're not really going to have that if the player has to go through all this every single time they start a new campaign.
Right, a BO, Fury!
Anyway, give me a sec to clear these guys out. Kinda hard to think with epic combat music blaring in my ears.
Stand down! I don't want to kill you, but they will!
Look! The pillar! Behind her!
Evo! Malvis!
Oh, right, they explode. Yeah, they did that in the demo too. Forgot about that. Well, good. I didn't need those hit points anyway. Though what I do need is a clear path, which unfortunately we don't have, so I guess we're going around? Could run right through, but I'd rather keep her unengaged. That'll provoke. Yeah. Just go all the way around. More and back. Yeah, I think they just keep spawning until we hit that pillar.
Right, a VO, Fury!
Okay, we gotta make a move. Let's get this guy out of our way. By which I mean, explode him. Ron, you wanna save your brother there? Before he gets rick-rolled? Nice.
Stop this madness! She won't come back! She didn't want to!
I don't believe you! The more you kill, the more will come!
Inappropriate. Also, yeah, that's a slightly awkward placement, but I think we'll be okay.
Arcana, Evo, Malvis!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not the best place to put our wizard, but it's fine. We're good.
Death reaches out.
So close.
Raike, Avio, Fury!
Thanks, bro. All right, let's finish pushing through.
You're just lucky.
Oh, stop exploding, please. It's like a victory tax.
Look! The pillar! Behind her! The pillar! Knock it down!
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Arcana, Evo! Arcana, Evo! Arcana, Evo, Malvis!
Nice, but also ow. Lovely, lovely. Okay, Rob, can you please... Oh, one more round.
Raike, Avio, Fury!
Honestly, we're not doing that bad. Really figured we'd be seeing a whole lot more misses. Back in my test run, we were whiffing left and right. We'd go entire rounds without anyone actually landing a hit. That's a big part of why I made sure we grabbed Magic Missile this time out. Oh, yes. I love that move. I know it's not a big deal. I get giddy every time a reaction pops up.
Arcana, Evo, Malvis!
You know, at this point, reaction actions are old hat, but as an old school dungeon master, it just still feels so novel and new. Really helps the fights feel more alive. And we are done. Let's rob them of victory. No, my oldest friend.
Holy Mother.
tried. I did everything you asked of me. Why did you take her from me? Shadwin was right. You are the betrayer. And you have betrayed me! Seeks your mercy.
Why? The Cold Walls failed to keep the Covenant again.
We are Cold Walls too. Marhin was a mother to us. We shall honor the Covenant.
You would take Marhin's burden to save her son.
Oh, I actually get to choose something. Okay.
What is the Covenant?
Your sacred heritage. A blessed journey to undertake. A flame to keep alive.
I mean, Mareike, I don't know if that really explained anything, but okay. And I've gotta say, I am very tempted to find out what happens if we click no to the God quest, considering that I am fairly certain it's central to the entire campaign. But I don't want to have to go through all that again, so God quest it is. I mean, I do fully suspect that saying no is just a false option, and you'll have to take the quest regardless. But I do think it would be very funny if you said no and the game just ended. It's not exactly original, but I always get a kick out of that particular gag. Like, you literally refuse the call to adventure. Where do you think things are going to go from there? I might experiment with that off-screen.
We will.
So be it.
man, I poke fun at it, but they really did put a lot of passion into these particular scenes.
Where are we?
Neokos. She sent me back.
Where?
Rick. Why? Why did you have to take everything from me? Shadwin was right. It's all lies. Deceit. All of it!
Wait! He's alive.
What happened? Where is the Orcus?
She's gone. Don't move. We'll go get help.
Oh, fine. I guess I'll stay here.
Did that really happen? Did we really speak to Mareike?
Oh, it burns. What? God's teeth. I'm branding.
What? Oh, so am I.
Mareike's symbol. The message is clear.
I'd have a couple of questions for her. Me too. Like, what happened to Landry? He had nothing to do with all this.
What about those weird stone creatures protecting Diorcus?
Well, finding help for Rickard should be our priority.
Oh, hard cut there. And tutorial complete. We have now found ourselves teleported to parts unknown, on an unexplained god quest surrounded by people that we've only just met, but have also apparently known for our entire lives. I've got to say it's an awkward setup for an adventure, but I can dig it. I've certainly seen worse. I do think, though, that... we're going to pause it here. This is... we're officially done with the tutorial, so this is as good a place as any to pause and catch our breath. But, I do feel like the higher production values is really a double-edged sword, and it very clearly shows in this first opening episode. On the one hand, it looks and plays and sounds way better than the first game did. The downside being that all that extra production value, all that extra effort put into a grand and epic narrative, does really take away from the player's agency. We got to make, one dialogue choice in that entire thing? And I suspect that one time we got a choice was itself a false choice. The foster family thing is silly. I can roll with it. I can suspend my disbelief for all sorts of things, but I do feel like it's mainly just there for a Fallout 4 sort of scenario. An opening where they introduce you to a bunch of old friends and family, quote-unquote, only to have various terrible things happen to them almost immediately afterwards. You're not attached to those characters because you have no idea who they are. Our oldest friend Landry got killed during our skirmish with the glowing stone people, the Sipak. And, on the one hand, I kind of liked Landry, but at the same time, I'm not super bent out of shape about it. The guy had, 10 lines. He did kill that one kobold. Not bad for a lowly NPC. But, if they really wanted me to care about these guys, they need to let me spend more time with them to actually get invested. Rick over there might actually stand a chance because he survived the intro. Our sister, quote-unquote, I don't know, maybe. At the very least, I feel like they need to change her hair if they want me to take her seriously. The Minnie Mouse do isn't really helping with her gravitas. But, when the grand narrative decides to take a breather and gives me a chance to actually play some D&D, I actually really get into it. You know, the fights have been fun so far, even the ones we steamrolled. The one we steamrolled, we've only had 2. I love making the characters. I think there's a lot of improvements in the production value. The handcrafted maps all look pretty solid. I just wish we got to spend more time actually adventuring on them. But, you know, it is, at the end of the day, still in alpha, so there is room for improvement, and they've got time to do it. Hopefully they'll take the feedback seriously and smooth at least a few things out. That aside, we have now gotten through the bulk of the tutorial and initial narrative setup, so we do have some slightly more conventional adventuring ahead of us after a bit more awkwardly paced narrative setup, but, you know, we'll worry about that next time. That said, all in all, you know, a bit of a mixed bag. I'm going to say more good than bad. Enough at least that I definitely want to keep going with it, at least for a little while longer. At the very least, we need to get out to the overland map, because I think that is one of the areas where they really improved things over the original game. But, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we will pick up here next time, which should be very soon. I mean, Rickard over there is certainly not going to save himself. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Giemza, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.